Videolanders? I'm Brad, and with me, as usual, is...
Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, Rebel Scum. I am Darth Regnant, your nemesis.
Love that shirt, Dungeon Master. What's that? In case there's some viewers out there that haven't seen the shirt, what is it? It's the Reaper! Right on, man. Well, we just got done watching Star Wars Rebels, Call for Action, or Call to Action, and looking through some of my notes here. Man, what'd you think of that episode, Dungeon Master?
I rated it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, that's pretty high. What are some things you liked about this episode?
The emergence of Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh man, Grand Moff Tarkin. This is the first time that we've seen Tarkin since the Clone Wars, and he was an admiral during the Clone Wars, and now the first time we see him. We've heard of him, you know, in the Rebels before, but this is the first time that we actually see the presence of Grand Moff Tarkin. And Grand Moff Tarkin, going from admiral to Tarkin, he comes in, and if you remember last week I was kind of bitching about how this guy hasn't been doing his job. And
nobody's been doing their job.
He hasn't been doing his job. Agent Callus hasn't been doing his job, and the Minister of Lothal hasn't been doing her job. And I've been bitching. I was bitching last week. I was like, man, these guys, I mean, I'm not going to take them serious anymore if they keep jacking around, you know? And what they do, they jacked around just a few too many times, didn't they?
Yep.
With them jacking around and not taking care of their business, taking out the trash, we get Grand Moff Tarkin. And one of my favorite scenes of Call to Action is the very beginning of this episode. Beautiful shot. You see Lothal, and you see a Star Destroyer, and you see an Imperial shuttle fall out of the Star Destroyer, and then it just kind of approaches Imperial headquarters on Lothal. And that is just a beautiful shot. And I have to say, these episodes here, the more that they do, and the further they get along in this series,
the better they are.
The better they are, but man, not just that, but on a technical level, just real quick, my God, this episode was beautiful. There's some shots that was in this episode, that was better than anything I've seen on TV. I mean, that shot where it's entering Lothal and it's going towards Imperial headquarters, and it's that Imperial shuttle, just the lighting of Lothal and the ships and then that sky there, that night sky, just gorgeous. But that was a great scene when he first lands. We get the Inquisitor, the Minister, and then we get Callus, and they're all there in the headquarters, and Tarkin calls them out. Tarkin tells them that they haven't been doing their jobs, you know, and he tells them that the Inquisitor, especially, they have someone that specializes in what?
Getting rid of Jedi.
And has he been doing his job?
Hell no.
He's been sucking. So Moff Tarkin, what's he do?
Tells them to either shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the pot. And that's a good way to put it, Dungeon Master. And so yeah, he's a presence on Lothal now. And there's some great shots in this series. I'm looking back over some screenshots here, and you have one of my next favorite shots here. Look at this. This right here is when our rebels are going into Lothal, and they're going into the marketplace. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
And they're on their speeders. And their speeders are awesome looking, man. I mean, these speeders are like, you can tell they're modified. They're different colors. They're not just like your normal Imperial speeders.
Right.
Really cool looking speeders. And they're on the outskirts of a city in Lothal. And yeah, look at that. So they're approaching the city, and it's just a beautiful shot. You see, it's a nighttime shot.
Mm-hmm.
The speeders are going into the city.
Yep. And
they have to spread off. You know, they start winging out, and they go to the center of the city, and those Imperial troopers are following them. And just a gorgeous shot. It's a nighttime shot. It's a speeder chase through the city. And I mean, what do you think of that speeder chase?
Good.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
And then there's this one scene that's really cool where Kanan goes into the city, and the Imperials are following him. And when they're following him, the trooper goes around the corner. He gets off of his speeder, and he goes around the corner thinking he's gonna block off Kanan, and he gets over there, and what happens?
Two speeders on the ground in the rebels.
And then remember Kanan's speeder just floats out right in front of him, and then that old school it sounds like kind of like a Western theme comes on, and the trooper goes around the corner, and he's trying to find Kanan. Can't find him, and he looks up, and there's Ezra with his blaster pistol, and that thing.
He neutralizes them.
Yeah, that thing packs a punch, doesn't it?
Yep.
But yeah, I love that whole scene there, man, where they're taking their speeders into that city. It's gorgeous. It works well. It's a great action sequence.
And they head back to the Ghost.
Yeah, they head back to the Ghost, and then you find out at the Ghost, man, that they're looking at their holodeck, and you find out that Travis, the senator from the first one or last episode, he puts a bounty on him.
Yep.
He puts a bounty on the rebels, which is really cool because I think this is a game changer right here. I really do. But them putting a bounty on the rebels now, this is the first time they've had a bounty on them. This is a great opportunity since we've had Yoda, we've had Lando, we've had C-3PO, R2-D2. We've had a couple other people as guest appearances, other characters. And this is a perfect opportunity now because they've been kind of able to roam around free.
Do what they want.
Kind of do what they want, I mean, the Imperials have been chasing them, but now that there's a bounty on their head, man, what about a Lothal citizen turning them in on every corner just for some extra dough, some extra credits? So they're going to have to watch their back now. They can't trust anybody because of the senator from the last episode. They don't know who to trust. And they're going to have to watch their backs now, not only from Imperial forces, but from a bounty on their head.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be cool, like in the next couple episodes, see maybe Boba Fett, Boss, IG-88, one of these old school bounty hunters, or a brand new bounty hunter, for this series.
Or the female that was with Kanasana.
Yeah, Ahsoka Tano? Yeah, no, that's actually a good call. I didn't even think about that. Asajj Ventress, because last time we seen Asajj Ventress, she was a bounty hunter.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that. Good call. Your Star Wars Dungeon Master. But yeah, if they brought even Asajj Ventress into it as a bounty hunter to try to stop these rebels, that is brilliant. I'd actually like to see that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so now there's a bounty on their head. They're gonna have to watch that. There's and then after that scene, you have a great scene. You remember where it goes next?
They talk about turning tables on the Imperials and sending out their own message.
Yeah, sending out their own message and then going to the comm tower that's on Lothal, the Imperial comm tower,
yep,
and getting a message out there of freedom, of hope, and to pretty much spark
the truth.
The truth, and to spark a rebellion. If they got the right. They got the right message out,
some followers.
You can go, they have tons of followers, and I think this is where we're really going to see the rebellion rise. I really think we're going to see the spark of the rebellion starting after this episode.
Hopefully.
As long as people jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
And what's very interesting, they said if they can get this message out through this tower, this Imperial tower, then it would go to systems all over the place, not just Lothal.
Right.
So we're not talking just Lothal civilians. We're talking, across the galaxy. We don't know how far this message will spread.
Especially out on the rim where they're at.
This could reach Skywalker. This could reach Han Solo. I mean, hard telling. How many people this can reach.
Even Lando.
Even Lando. And Lando's on Lothal, at least last time we know. Because remember last time we left Lando, where was he?
At the mine.
Yeah, remember the Inquisitor comes down and he shits his pants?
Yep.
But, no, we were just making that last part up because it was funny. But that's how Jim would have ended, or the Dungeon Master would have ended the last, or the Idiots Array episode. So go watch that episode. That's a funny episode. But then, after that, Ezra tells him that he's kind of scared. He doesn't want to. He does want to do this, but he's afraid of loss.
He's trying to whip out.
Yeah, and he's afraid of loss because his parents spoke out, and we've seen what happened to his parents. And now the crew's going to speak out, and they got their message to spark this rebellion or to get this rebellion pushed even further. And Ezra's afraid that he's going to lose them.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it's I'm very curious to see where this leads. I mean, do you think at the end of the day, okay, when all of this is said and done, do you think Ezra will, that loss, that being scared to lose the ones that he loves, do you think that will break him and tear him down like it did Anakin?
I don't think so.
Or do you think he's going to be the opposite of Anakin?
I think it's going to be the exact opposite.
Yeah? You think he's going to grow through this? He's going to be strong? He's actually going to become
He's going to get a backbone.
Yeah? You think he's going to be a good Padawan?
I think so.
I think he's got a great leader in Kanan. And Kanan tells him that, we got to sacrifice. We got to push forward and we have to sacrifice. And I love Kanan. They're trying to figure out things together. And Kanan and Ezra, man, this series has had its ups and downs. It's had some filler episodes, but it's the first season. But, man, I tell you what, man, out of all the TV that I watch, something that I really enjoy from week to week is Kanan and Ezra and their chemistry. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
I love seeing that and what's going to happen. Before I go any further, is there any other notes that you want to, anything else that you want to talk about to this point?
That's about it.
Is that about it to that point right there?
Yeah.
So after that, we go see Moff Tarkin, and Moff Tarkin's talking with the Inquisitor, and he's talking with the Minister and Callus, and there's two Imperial agents in front of him who have failed to capture the rebels many times, and he tells them that failure will not be tolerated, and
Not acceptable.
Yeah, not acceptable, and I think that's what I pull from this episode right here. I pull those words right there, and I hope that this is how we push this series forward. Because almost every bitch and gripe that I had last episode was fixed with Moff Tarkin coming to town and telling them that failure will not be accepted any further, and there will be some consequences for failure.
Yep.
And he tells the Inquisitor, he kind of gives the Inquisitor a look like this. Remember that?
Yep.
And the Inquisitor gets behind the Imperial agents, has his double lightsaber there, and you just see a beheaded those two guys. So they're not screwing around anymore. This is a kids show, and there's a beheading, in these Imperial headquarters. So I thought that was pretty tough as nails. You don't see that too much on kids TV, but the stakes are high now. And he looks at the rest of them. He's like, if failure is not an option anymore,
You could be next.
yeah, exactly. You could be next. Is it going to be the Inquisitor? Is it going to be Callus? Is it going to be the Minister? I mean, because Moff Tarkin, he answers to Palpatine. And his head could be next. We know it's not because, he's in A New Hope and the Death Star, so we know this. We know it's not going to be Moff Tarkin's head.
Yep.
You know who we don't see? We don't see the Inquisitor or Callus, so if they screw up too much more, their head's going to be on the chopping block.
Callus maybe. I don't think Inquisitor is going to happen to him.
No? You think it'd be Callus before Inquisitor?
Yep.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I'm very curious to see where that goes. So man, we get a beheading, and then the next scene after that, we have our rebels, and they're on their scouting mission, and there's another beautiful shot, man. This episode had so many beautiful shots. The cinematography for this was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been shots like this in any other episode. That's just every shot is just like, man, the lighting's just right. The shot is just right. Everything just pulls you in. And there's a shot where they're doing some recon. And you remember that? And there's that probe droid approaching. And I'll let you explain this scene.
Well, they're on top what I consider an arch, looking down, and they see the droid approaching and going underneath, stationary, and Ezra uses the Force to call an animal to land on the droid and disrupt it.
Yeah, so he's using his Force power, so he's getting to exercise a little bit of that. And that was a cool scene. We get to see a classic probe droid, you know, which is really cool.
Right.
But what I loved about that scene was something very simple that, you know, it was the shot where they're on top and they're moving from one side of the arch to the other side of the arch, and the camera is just panning over the top of them, and it just looks. I mean, I want to know who directed this episode. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I mean, they know what they're doing. And if this, I'm just gonna go ahead and spill this right now. I give this episode 5 out of 5. What do you give it? Same. If every episode, if it could look like this and pull the emotions from the viewers like this, and what would you say your second favorite episode is? If you can't remember the title, just kind of give it a...
Last week's.
Last week's? What about so Visions of Hope was last week, and then you have the Jedi, the one where they go to the temple.
Yeah.
Path of a Jedi. Path of a Jedi. I believe that's what it's called.
Those are the top 3 right there.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Spark of Rebellion 1 and 2, when they first premiered this, it was good.
Yeah.
I liked Spark of Rebellion. I thought it was good.
It wasn't as good as these 3.
No, by far. You know what? But it introduced me. I enjoyed it. And then it kind of tapered off a little bit, and now it's coming back with just these last couple episodes have been amazing. And if they can get this and Path of a Jedi and Visions of Hope, if every episode can meet that bar or succeed it, you know, man, we're in for a treat on season 2. So, man, I spilled the beans a little bit earlier there, man. 5 out of 5. This, just everything they did in this episode, and the Path of a Jedi for me, and Vision of Hope for you, perfection, man. And if not perfection, pretty damn close.
Yeah.
They're really onto something. I feel like they're finally getting on their legs, man. They're really creating something, you know, getting underneath their feet here, you know. But
they made one mistake.
What's that?
Whenever he disabled the droid, they didn't disable the camera.
Oh, yeah, on that probe droid. And it showed where they were going to go.
Yep.
And they were heading towards this comm tower, that Imperial comm tower.
Yep.
And, yeah, because they had their speeders over there, and you see just a little bit of a blur of them escaping. And, yeah, so Tarkin finds out about this.
Yep.
And he's like, let him go to the comm tower.
We'll trap him.
We'll trap him. And so Agent Callus, he was kind of like, I don't know, is that such a great idea? But who's gonna backtalk Grand Moff Tarkin? You know, you don't do that. He's awesome. He's a dick. You don't do that. So it's cool. They end up trapping. Had some screenshots here in my notes. Yeah, it's brilliant, man. So they go off and they head off to the headquarters. The comm tower.
Right.
Rebels do. And they think they have it made. They're just going to put a computer spike in. They're going to get their message out there to however many people can listen. And they're going to have their broadcast. They're going to have their podcast, their vlog, you know. They're going to get their message out.
Yep. And
they get trapped. They get trapped by Tarkin, Callus, and, yeah, this a-hole. Right? And just real quick,
my buddy.
We gotta go back to that archway real quick. I love, there was my favorite line from this movie probably, and you know I'm not a big Sabine fan, okay? But my favorite line from this was, what'd Sabine say?
Fast or good?
Do you want it fast, or do you want it good? Now don't say anything yet, okay, Dungeon Master? I'm gonna ask you the same question that Sabine asked, okay? Do you like it fast, or do you like it good?
Good.
Dungeon Master likes it good. How do you like it? Fast or good? So anyway, fast forward. They get to the headquarters. They get trapped, and there's a little what do you say? Like a little fight between Kanan and the Inquisitor. Right. And man, I'm glad Kanan didn't get away. I love Kanan. He's my boy. He's my Jedi. I'm glad he didn't get away though, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now the stakes are high. You know, they can't just keep on pulling this off anymore, you know? There's consequences if these guys fail. These guys are on top of their game now. Hopefully they're focused. You know, they got resolve. And another thing I wanted to mention, when those ships came down, they blew up one of them that the Inquisitor was in. And I don't know if you noticed, but the Inquisitor didn't even blink.
Nope.
when that ship came down next to him. Didn't even blink.
Nope.
He was focused on Kanan. He got down there. He jumped down from the ship, and those ships look like low altitude trooper ships.
Yeah.
You know, low altitude transport ships. You know, and I love every time in these episodes when they're bridging the gap from Clone Wars to A New Hope, Rebel era. You know, because we get to see that technology evolve, and those transports look like a transport / TIE fighter. That was very cool design. So I loved it when they came down. But so you have that square off between Kanan and Inquisitor. Inquisitor captures Kanan. Tarkin comes down, but Ezra gets the message out, doesn't he?
Yep.
He gets the message out to Lothal, and we don't even know how far his message reaches. And so hopefully this next episode we're going to see people starting to back them. You know, maybe Lando coming back. We don't even know. They're going to probably create new characters for the show.
Could be.
And it's going to really pave the way, I think, from here, right here, this episode here, I think it's going to pave the way to A New Hope. Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
You know, Return of the Jedi. I think this episode here is a big game changer. And, yeah, I love this episode. I thought it was great. What'd you think? 5 out of 5, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So, any comments that you want to make?
One thing you forgot to mention.
What's that?
The Imperials destroyed the tower.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Very end. You didn't think they were going to do that because that's a big comm tower.
It's only one on
that's
the
the
world.
only comm tower on Lothal.
Yep.
And Kanan, he's in that transport, that Imperial transport, and he's looking off, and Moff Tarkin gives the signal to blow up that tower.
Yep.
But before he blows it up, Ezra gets that message out.
Yep.
You know, for a hope. You know, for a new hope to arise. You know, for rebellion to spark, and for people to stand up for what they believe in to take on the Empire.
Yep.
You know, so, man, I loved it. 5 out of 5. If they can stay like this,
It'll be awesome.
it'll be awesome. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yep.
We loved it. So, what are they even here to listen to us for? Go watch it. It's on, XD. I mean, you crazy kids, you can find it somewhere. Look at it on the internet, right?
That's it.
Go find it. It's awesome. It's amazing. Tune in next week. I think it's 1 or 2 more episodes left.
About that.
No, not many episodes left for this season, so jump on board, catch up. It's great. So, hey, peace out. Have a good week. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube. More videos to come. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. And Dungeon Master, I'm going to let you tell them. Let you have the sign off.
Peace.
Peace.